It all started when I was just a kid. My dad was in the military and we were stationed on an island in the middle of the ocean. It was a beautiful place. There was a nice little town nearby that had a bunch of kids my age. So my parents let me go there so I could make some friends. I made some really good friends there, too. And one of them invited me over to their house for dinner one night. Their family was really nice, and after dinner they asked if I wanted to go exploring around the island. I said yes, of course, and they took me to this path near their house. I remember looking down at the ground and seeing all these pebbles and rocks, and then suddenly, bam, my foot went through the ground and I fell into this hole. I remember screaming for help, but no one came. I don't remember how long I was stuck in that hole, but eventually I calmed down and realized I was completely alone. I don't remember how long I was stuck there, but eventually I stopped screaming and I started thinking, maybe no one's coming, maybe I'm gonna die here. And then something really crazy happened. I heard what sounded like footsteps near the hole. I don't know if they were coming down into the hole or if they were walking away from me. I couldn't tell which way they were going, but then I heard something else. I heard a voice say, "Are you okay?" And then it said, "Hello, can anyone hear me?" And then another voice reply, "Over here." And then footsteps again. I started calling out for help, but I don't think they could hear me because no one responded. I called out for a really long time, but eventually I got tired and I stopped calling for help. I don't know if it was just my imagination, but I could have sworn I saw the silhouette of someone standing next to the hole, but then they vanished. I ended up falling asleep in that hole, but I don't know how long I was there. It felt like hours, but it might have been minutes, I don't know. But eventually I heard footsteps and someone shouting my name. I looked up and it was my friend's older brother. He helped me out of the hole and then he scolded me for going off by myself like that. Then he walked me back to my house. The rest of my friends came with us and they were saying, "We were so worried about you. We thought you fell into a cave and we told our parents and they called the police." I apologized and I told them I was sorry for freaking them out. Then I went inside and my mom hugged me and asked if I was okay. I told her I was fine and she gave me some water and then she sat me down and started asking me questions about what happened. I told her everything and then she told me, "You need to be more careful because what if you fell into a cave and we couldn't find you? You could have died." Then she gave me some dinner and told me to go to sleep. The next day, my mom drove me and my friend's family to the hole where I fell in. We didn't find anything, so we filled it in and moved on. But every time I close my eyes, I can still see the silhouette of that person standing next to the hole. I can still hear the voices. I haven't told anyone about this until now. That was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my life. I was convinced that I had encountered the ghost of whoever was buried in that hole, and I knew that it was trying to warn me about something. I don't know what it was trying to warn me about, but I knew it was important. I could feel its presence watching me every time I closed my eyes. I could hear its footsteps pacing back and forth, getting closer and closer. And then I could hear its voice whispering in my ear, telling me that I wasn't safe, that I needed to run, but I couldn't move. I was paralyzed with fear. And then I felt its cold, dead fingers wrap around my throat and squeeze tight. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Then I felt its icy breath on my neck and I heard it whisper, "You shouldn't be here. This place is not safe." And then everything went black. When I woke up, I was lying on the ground next to the hole. I don't know how long I was there, but eventually I got up and ran home as fast as I could. When I got there, my mom opened the door and she asked, "What happened to you? Why are you so scared?" But before I could answer, I felt something grab my leg and pull me down. I screamed and tried to get away, but it was too strong. It dragged me away from my house and towards the hole. I don't know how long I struggled, but eventually I stopped moving. And when it turned me over, I saw the face of the creature that had been haunting me. It was a horrifying sight. It had skin hanging off its bones and its eyes were glowing red. Then it opened its mouth and revealed rows and rows of sharp teeth. And then it started laughing, a horrible, ear-piercing laugh that echoed through the night. And then it spoke, its voice raspy and distorted. "Finally, I can take you to my grave." And then it lunged at me and I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a dark, damp place. I couldn't see anything, but I could hear the dripping of water. And then I smelled something foul, like rotting flesh. I tried to call out for help, but my voice wouldn't come out. Then I felt something touch my arm and I screamed. I tried to thrash away from it, but it held me down, and then I felt its cold, slimy tongue lick my face. I don't know what it was, but it kept licking my face, and then I heard a voice say, "Stop, you idiot. You're waking her up." Then I heard footsteps and the sound of something heavy being dragged along the ground. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I started to calm down. And then I heard a voice say, "She's awake." And then another voice said, "Good. I want to see what she has to say." And then I heard footsteps approaching me, and then I saw a pair of glowing red eyes staring down at me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. And then I saw the face of the creature that had been haunting me. It was grinning at me, revealing its sharp teeth. And then it spoke, its voice raspy and distorted. "Welcome to Silent Hill." I struggled to get away, but it was too strong. It dragged me through the darkness until we finally reached a clearing. And when I looked around, I realized that I was in a graveyard. The creature let go of me and I stumbled backwards, tripping over a headstone. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I got up and started walking away. I could hear the creature laughing behind me, but I didn't dare turn around to look at it. I just kept walking until I came across a road. I don't know where I was, but I started walking down the road. I could hear the creature getting closer, and I could feel its eyes on me. I could hear its footsteps pounding on the pavement, getting closer and closer. And then I heard its voice behind me, "Run, little girl, run. But you can't hide from me forever." I kept running until I came to a house. I don't know whose it was, but I banged on the door and screamed, "Please let me in, please help me." But no one answered. So I kept running until I came across another house and I banged on the door and screamed for help again, but no one answered. I don't know how long I ran for, but eventually I stopped and I turned around to face the creature. It was standing there grinning at me, revealing its sharp teeth. And then it spoke, its voice raspy and distorted, "Give up, little girl. There's no one here to save you." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. And then the creature lunged at me and I closed my eyes waiting for it to rip me apart. But it never did. Instead, I felt something cold wrap around my waist and lift me off the ground. I opened my eyes and saw the creature carrying me over its shoulder. I struggled to get away, but it was too strong. It walked towards a dark alleyway and disappeared from view. When I woke up, I was lying on a cold, hard surface. I tried to sit up, but my head pounded and I could hear ringing in my ears. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I got up and staggered out of the alleyway. I could hear the creature laughing behind me, but I didn't dare turn around to look at it. I just kept walking until I came across a park. I don't know where I was, but I collapsed onto a bench and I put my head in my hands. I could hear the creature getting closer, and I could feel its eyes on me. I could hear its footsteps crunching on the gravel, getting closer and closer. And then I heard its voice behind me, come out, wherever you are. I know you're hiding here somewhere." I stayed there for what felt like hours, but eventually I heard the creature walk away. When I woke up, I was lying in my bed. I don't know how I got there, but I got up and walked to the window. I looked outside and I could see that it was daytime. I could hear birds chirping and children laughing. I could hear cars driving by on the street. I could hear people talking. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I turned away from the window and went back to bed. I don't know how long I slept, but when I woke up, I knew that I wasn't in my house anymore. I was in a dark, damp place. I could hear the dripping of water. And then I smelled something foul, like rotting flesh. I tried to call out for help, but my voice wouldn't come out. And then I felt something touch my arm and I screamed. I tried to thrash away from it, but it held me down. And then I felt its cold, slimy tongue lick my face. I don't know how long I stayed there, but eventually I started to calm down. And then I heard a voice say, "She's awake." And then I heard footsteps approaching me. And then I saw a pair of glowing red eyes staring down at me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. And then I saw the face of the creature that had been haunting me. It was grinning at me, revealing its sharp teeth. And then it spoke, its voice raspy and distorted, "Welcome to Silent Hill."